On the morning of 9/11, I was sleeping late with my fiance. I had returned from Buffalo the evening before, had been delayed because of thunderstorms, and I was in Buffalo to take care of my aging parents who were having a very difficult time. So I was in the midst of my own personal drama as this national tragedy unfolded. We were listening to the radio and the radio signal went out. We turned on the television and saw the plane hit the first tower, and my husband said, he's my husband now, he said that was no accident. And he went to work. He worked at a large insurance company a few blocks away. I returned to my home office apartment. I turned on the TV, my TV went out. I went into a neighbor's apartment where they were standing on the terrace, and I watched the towers fall with virtual strangers as I was talking to my poor father on the phone, who was wondering when I was coming back to Buffalo. I was worried about my sister, who had flown in from Boston the night before, but I was able to determine that she had arrived safely much earlier, although she was in Logan Airport in Boston with the attackers. So that was kind of frightening. In the next few days, our apartment was very close to the Armory, which was the staging area for people looking for their loved ones. So the neighborhood was just papered with flyers that were just so sad. And, you know, hourly we heard the sirens coming up First Avenue bringing remains to the morgue. And it was just an oppressive time of fear and sadness. I remember seeing the National Guard in Park Avenue on the evening of September 11th. And thinking that the world had dramatically changed. I thought about September 11th a lot again a couple of years ago when I was teaching freshman writing at Fordham University, and I had asked my class, as part of a sequence of assignments to consider their place in public discourse, to remember the first event that hit them outside of their family, that hit their awareness, and they were supposed to recall their memory and then look at an objective report of the event and compare the two. And I knew most of them would want to write about September 11th, and I encouraged them to choose other topics because I just didn't want to read the essays. But indeed, 13 out of the 16 wrote about September 11th, and it was startling to me how much they remembered. They were 9 years old at the time. Most of them were from the tri-state area. And they remembered everything, what they were wearing, where they were standing, who they were speaking to. And what they remembered, too, was that adults lied to them that day. And for their own protection, of course, but they were told that, you know, a pesticide had been sprayed on the grass, and so they had to come in from the playground. Or that there was a problem with the air conditioning in the school, and so their parents had to come and pick them up. And they knew that something was wrong. And it took them some time to figure out, you know, to the extent we figured out what had happened. And it was reading those essays and seeing that sense of betrayal, which I think the country felt to some degree, that made me realize what a deep tragedy this event was for our country, and most of all for those children who suffered through it at that young age.